Question 1. This question is about the particle model. Describe, which is our command word, so we're just going to say what we see. The particle arrangement in a liquid, and that's our liquid there, and it's worth 3 marks. So we know there are going to be 3 things we're going to say about it. Now I'm going to start off now with a wrong answer. Okay, so this answer is wrong. Will not give you any marks. Because we've got to talk about the particle arrangement, if you were to say, for instance, that liquids are wet or liquids can flow, now you're not talking about the particle arrangement, so that will be worth no marks. Okay, so be really careful here that you're talking about the particle arrangement. So how are these particles arranged in the liquid? Well, first of all, they are randomly arranged. There's no fixed pattern like there is in a solid. So they're randomly arranged. What else? Well, they can, so the particles can move past each other. Okay, and the last one is that they are touching, so the particles are touching. Okay, next question. Describe, again, similarities and differences between the particle model of liquids and gases, and it's worth 4 marks. So there are going to be 4 bullet points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, because it's asking me for similarities and differences, this question could easily have been written as compare the particle model of liquids and gases. However, they're asking for similarities and differences now. So what I'm going to do to make sure I have equal amounts of each. If I write 4 similarities or 4 differences, I'm not going to get all the marks. So I'm going to use headings. So similarities and differences. So I'm going to put similarities in the first 2 bullets and then 2 differences there. So how are they similar? Well, I'm looking at the liquid and gas now. So in both, particles are randomly arranged. Okay, I might say that in both the particles can move past each other. In both, particles can move past each other. 2 differences. So in gas, particles are not touching. I need to make sure here that every sentence I write refers to both a liquid and a gas. So in gas, particles not touching. In liquid, they are touching. Okay, and the last bullet traditionally is the hardest one to get the mark. I need one extra thing. Well, I know here, because it's talking about the particle model, I know that particles in a gas are moving much faster. So particles in gas move faster. Now, I said that I had to make sure that every sentence was a comparison. Because I've said faster, that's a comparison word. That tells me that they must be going faster than the particles in a liquid, because the liquid is referred to in the question. Part C. Explain, so a slightly different command word here, explain what would happen to the motion of gas particles if they were heated. And that's worth 2 marks. So 1, 2. Whenever I see an explain question, I always imagine it says it's a describe question, so I'm going to describe something first, and then I'm going to add some detail as to why that happens. Okay, so explain questions are describe plus. So the first bit is I'm going to describe. So describe what happens to the motion of the gas particles. So they're heated. Well, when they're heated, when heated, particles move faster. And most students would get that mark, but lots of them wouldn't get the second mark because they've only put one thing down and it's worth 2. So now I've got to say why that happens. When heated particles move faster, well, why? Okay, so this is due to their kinetic store increasing as energy supplied by heat. Okay, so energy is being provided by heat, and that's going into their kinetic store, which means they move faster.